This is the story of two fantasy studs. In the beginning, there were two fantasy football studs who had all the right pieces but could not put together a championship team. They chased their dreams until they realized their true calling and their rise to fantasy football greatness. John Payton Hood had created his perfect team, constructing a masterpiece that would take him to the final championship game. It led it down to a kick by David Akers. It was missed. This led him to other things in life, such as pills and alcohol, which sent him on a spiral downward. But there was another star in the midst. His name was Jared Jardina, and he started with his dancing career that was just about to take off, or what he thought was going to take off. While he was majoring in African Caribbean vernacular dance at Phoenix Community College, he got his first review. Rhythm, F. Costume, are you kidding? And the teacher left him steps in order to do. 1. Get a 9-foot rope and tie it to his feet. 2. Tie a cinder block to the feet. 3. Throw into the water and die. So his only hope left was his team. But his team didn't make it to the playoffs in 2010. There was no way out, nothing left. So they decided to go to fantasy football college where they learned the ins and outs of the system. Jared constructed wonderful formulas that created algorithms of wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, until he came up with the perfect solution to get to the championship. As these two young fantasy football studs learned this, they knew the prize would be great. And now they are here.
Hello everyone, I'm John Payton Hood, aka Vic in a Box, aka Smelly Feet, and this is
Snoopy Jardina, aka Snoopaloo.
And welcome to this week's edition of
Fantasy Football Breakdown,
Rooster Style. This week, we're here to discuss Damian Holcomb's team, also known as DBAG.
Also known as Touchdown There. You know, John Payton, I got to thinking about that name.
What's that, Jared?
You know what, he's always been more of a follower, never really been a leader. Doesn't think, you know, that name's kind of decent.
I think you're right, Jared. So, you know, we had our intern, Garrett Anderson, Google Touchdown There to see what came up. And guess what? You won't be shocked. FantasyTeamNames.net with tags such as funny, gross,
Fun wordplay, sexual.
Come on, Damien. We all know you're not getting any.
You know, Damien, you could have just gone with a simple name. You got Snoopaloo.
Smelly feet. I've got stinky fucking feet.
Enough of railing on Damien. We all know how easy that is.
No doubt.
Let's go ahead and jump right into the number one pick here. We got Calvin Johnson. JP, take this one.
Calvin Johnson. Definitely one of the best wide receivers in the game. He's got the hands. He's got the size. He's got the speed.
All right, John Payton, we all know how good Calvin Johnson is, but we also know it all depends on the health of Matthew Stafford. Drew Stanton's just not going to do it for him this year. You remember that hit on Matthew Stafford last year?
You mean that hit by Julius Peppers? Oh yeah. Take it to the video. Ooh, here's Matthew Stafford's hurt. Let's see what happened in slow-mo.
You got Julius Peppers coming off the edge here.
Oh, that guy's blocking like Philip Duca.
Oh! Take a look at that end zone level. Oh, nice.
Man, Julius Pepper is one angry man. Looks like Matthew Stafford's hurt on that. He might be out for a while. Oh, 4 to 8 weeks.
More like 10.
That Matthew Stafford, he's weaker than a 3-day-old wet kitten. Well, that's enough with Matthew Stafford. Let's take an in-depth analysis with our statistician here, Jared Jardina, on Damian Holcomb's team.
Say what, let's get started with Tony Romo here. You know, last season he had 5 complete games. His lowest score was 15. Now, I think he has a chance to be a top 3 quarterback here, which you got, John Payton.
Well, as a Tony Romo owner last year, he was very consistent when he was healthy. And we all know John Kitna came in and had the season of his career because who likes that guy? Nobody. Great player as long as he can stay healthy. What about Darren McFadden, Jared? How do you feel about that?
Hey, when he's healthy, he's unbelievable. He's one of those guys who can single-handedly win you the game. 2 games last year, over 40 points. What do you think?
No doubt, no doubt. If he can stay healthy, this guy is a definite clear-cut #1 fantasy running back. But who breaks an orbital bone? What's an orbital bone? Do you know?
You got me.
On to Cedric Benson. How do you feel about Cedric Benson?
Let's go straight to the stats here, John Payton. Last year we got 10 games under 10 points, and this year he's going into the season with an extra 250 carries on those legs. What do you think? Think he can hang up?
Not only do I not think that he can hang on, but he looks like he's doing a little jail time. Looks like he's going up to Pelican Bay to do about 30 days. I think they might be changing his name to Cedric Bitchson. Now, on to Marshawn Lynch. How do you feel?
Marshawn Lynch. This guy, he had 1 carry last year. If you're going off of that, that's just ridiculous, Daniel. You got this guy last year, 12 games, he had under 10 points. 4 of those under 2, and of those 2 games, he had 1 of those in the negative. What do you think about that, John Payton?
In the negative. Seattle, tough place to play, especially when they lost their biggest asset.
Not to mention they got Tavares Jackson, the quarterback.
Give me a break. We all know how we feel about Calvin Johnson, fantasy stud. On to Mike Williams.
Look, Mike Williams had a couple good games last year, had all the hype. Listen to this. He had 9 games under 10 points, and he lost 3 games to injury last year. What does that spell, John Payton?
Mike Williams is going to depend totally on Josh Freeman. Josh Freeman is one of the quarterbacks, fantasy sleepers of this year. If he can stick to that, Mike Williams might have 3 or 4 productive games, but consistency, I don't think so.
I think Aurelius Pentex some of those receptions from this year.
I'll put it on the board. All right, next we go to Jason Witten, solid tight end. Him and Tony Romo also have a great connection. They're preseason roommates. They live together in training camp. They're definitely.
John Payton, there's no doubt this guy can be a stud. Is there enough balls throw around here? You got Miles Austin, Des Bryant, you got Felix Jones going to get a lot of balls out of the backfield this year.
This is true, Jared. This is true. End of the day, top five tight end.
I got him as a top 10.
Top 10. On to the bench. Oh, Santana Moss. This guy is older than the Crypt Keeper himself. I think Brett Favre's played in less games than this guy. How do you feel about him?
Well, the simple thing is, when you look at the bench, this is where you can make or break your season here. Any of these guys here you want to put on there and fill in for any of the starters? I don't think so. Santana Moss, he's just too old. Never has a production year.
Ben Tate. Ben Tate's looked great in preseason. But he's got who? What's his name again? Who's in front of him?
Arian Foster. The question is, when you got people on your bench, do you have enough guys you can put in there to fill in on bye weeks? You can't put Ben Tate in there unless Arian Foster plays. Last year he played the full season with the knee injury. Coaches didn't even know about it.
That's right. And you might argue that Arian Foster, has hamstring issues. He's going to be fine and healthy by week 1.
No doubt about it, he plays.
Not a factor. On to Mike Thomas next.
Who the hell is Mike Thomas?
Anyway, Rob Gronkowski. 2 words. Anthony Hernandez.
Let's just go ahead and end it right there, John Payton.
Cadillac Williams. How do you feel about Cadillac Williams?
Cadillac Williams. He's been under the knife more than Joan Rivers. No way those knees last up for the full season.
No doubt. On to Danny Woodhead. I wouldn't give it to him. This guy looks like a little boy out there. Rosie O'Donnell has more facial hair than him. And that was our in-depth analysis on Damian Holcomb's team. Overall, I see major injury concerns and inconsistency. What do you see, Jared?
The main thing, unless Darren McFadden puts up those over 40 points, I could easily see, under 50, 60 points every week.
All right, now what's
surprised.
your record take on here? How many games is he going to win?
Oh, he's under 500 for sure.
Under
no
500?
way he's getting in the playoffs.
No playoff team here. Welcome to Fantasy Football Breakdown version of
Come On, Man,
where we take a look at who you drafted and what talent was available.
Tell you what, John Payton, let's go ahead and start on round 4. I believe this is where it all started unraveling.
Absolutely. Pick number 39, Damian takes Mike Williams. When he had talent receiver out there like Dwayne,
Hey, I look at a guy like Des Bryant. Great young talent. This guy is a beast.
one of the best young NFL receivers in the game right now. When he gets it between the ears, he's going to be great.
Damian, come on, man. Tell you what, John Payton, let's go on to round 5. This is really where it starts getting bad.
Yeah, definitely. You took Cedric Benson. He's got so many miles on that knees, he's got even more miles driving drunk. Obviously, he's going to be spending a few days in the slammer.
I agree, John Payton. I'll tell you what, you got a guy like Mario Manningham. We've already identified the weakness right here. It's wide receiver. He's just begging to be taken at this spot right here. Damian, come on, man. Tell you what, I believe the next round here is round 8. Take a look at this one.
Absolutely. You took Santana Moss. Who's he got the ball thrown to him? John Beck, Rex Grossman.
I believe this is the round right here, round 8. You got to look at how high is the guy's ceiling that I'm taking right now. You got Plaxico Burress, Blaylon Edwards, ceiling through the roof. Santana Moss, it's more like the floor. Damian, come on, man.
And thank you for tuning in to this week's version of Fantasy Football Breakdown,
Rooster style.
Damian, go fuck yourself.
Oh. charisma.